Secrets Behind the Secrets by Lex. Warning, may contain content not suitable for children. Language, blood, violence, and some drug references. Prologue. My name is Jen Woods. I'm a forensics officer for the CPD, Chicago Police Department. These next few cases are some of my very own successes, catching perps and bringing them to justice. Now, since I am technically a police officer, I talk like one. So if you see any bolded words you don't know, feel free to look them up in the glossary at the end of each case. You are now going to endure cases of murder, deception, kidnapping, dead magicians, literal gold diggers, freaking awesome hostage situations in airports, and more. So be prepared for anything. Welcome to episode 3 of the A for Effort series, Secrets Behind the Secrets. I am Lex Fusco, and joining me today is Connor McKibben-Vaughn, my wonderful husband and fellow writer, and we have a special guest, Jack McCafferty. Jack, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
I'm going to do the NPR voice. Hi, my name is Jack McCafferty. I am a comedian here in Los Angeles, and hi, happy to be on the show, everybody.
Oh, you just dropped it.
I dropped it.
Bit.
It was a bad bit, and I just let it die.
You know what? Speaking of death, that is what this series is about. It's it's my love letter to CSI, and if that love letter was written by an angsty 11-year-old.
So it's not really a love letter. It's more like a stalky letter.
It's more along the lines of a this. I understand this, and this is the only way to understand this. There's no education needed.
Ah.
Yeah.
So I don't need to know what story structure is. I've seen enough episodes that I know how to do it.
Yeah. You know what? That's actually exactly it. So at the end of every case, there is a glossary for bolded words that you might not know. And I didn't look up any of these words.
Wait, so you have
They're professional
you have a dictionary.
words.
Oh, you have a professional dictionary.
So I have like a glossary at the end of each case. So here's an example. This is for a case we have not gotten to yet, and there are no spoilers here. But here's my definition of antiseptic. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Just the word antiseptic. Okay. Another type of blood detector. When the chemical comes in contact with blood, it turns a reddish pink.
Okay, cool. Got it.
Yeah. First off, that's just wrong.
Uh-huh.
I don't even...
So an antiseptic tank
is full of blood detector.
Blood
detector.
detector.
Yeah.
Okay.
First off, blood detecting chemicals are actually phenolphthalein. And I know that because I just actually rewatched CSI. So I don't even know where I was going with. And I had also heard the term antiseptic at that point.
I'm pretty sure 11-year-old you.
Wounds.
11-year-old you just misheard something or forgot something and just went. It doesn't matter.
In your defense, it would be kind of funny if an actual SVU episode was and this is called semen. Semen is basically the male hormone or blah blah blah. It's not a hormone.
They stop the episode to explain everything,
and then it becomes just an educational thing.
Oh my god, it's like Sesame Street.
I was gonna say,
and I want it to be
Sesame
iced tea.
The S in Sesame Street. The S in SVU is for Sesame, actually.
Wait, it's not iced tea. It's Ice Cube.
No, it's iced tea. It's iced
It's one of the beveraged
rappers turn actor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ice Cube is not a beverage.
It's wet.
If you wait
put it
long
in
enough, okay, it will be.
All right, so we're just gonna jump right in because I think that's really the only way that that you take this kind of punishment. So
I'm excited.
Good.
I'm so excited. Let's do it.
Let's do this
You
thing.
just speak what comes to mind. When things
Can I
happen.
say
Uh,
pause and be
I usually
you can
interrupt her.
he just interjects.
Oh, okay.
It's great. It's basically Mystery Science Theater.
I'm excited.
Okay. And by the way, it is all in good fun. Nothing will be taken personally. The point is
your ideas are bad and you should stop.
I know how bad
You were
this
11
is.
when you wrote this, correct?
I was 11
But
when
the
I
fact
wrote
that you were 11 and wrote anything is impressive, okay?
Yeah, and I think
Consistently, too.
Consistent, like you have a whole binder. It's got like rings and
There
shit.
are multiple of these.
this
isn't the only binder.
This
No.
is draft 3. This is draft 3, by the way.
That's impressive. When I was 11, like at most, I would draw a picture and be like, "This is a picture," and then that was it. That was the picture didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, and now
that was
you
the
have
end of the picture.
Now you have an entire animated series.
I do have an animated
on
series.
the internet. You want to plug? You want to plug that?
Yes, if anybody wants to check it out, it's called Clowns in Heck, and it's about a group of cute little clowns that wind up in hell and their adventures there. And season 2 is coming out eventually, so keep your eye out for that. Season 1's already up.
Oh, great! I love it. Speaking of hell, Connor's headcanon for this is that it's actually hell.
I love it. Okay.
Things
Up my
just
alley.
change. like buildings, rooms just aren't where they're supposed to be randomly.
There's no concept of time. It's great. So
it's like Twin Peaks meets CSI.
yes, which is basically just Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you kind of think about it.
All right. Okay. So case 3.
Dun, dun.
All that glitters is gold.
All that glitters is gold.
Precisely. Okay. We start off right out of the gate with some conflict. All right. Ah! Oh my God! Screeched Holly Wagner. The body of the A-list rapper Pitbull, which, by the way, 2006 predates real life Pitbull.
So this is not the bald Mr. Worldwide
This
Pitbull.
is not.
You just made up a man named Pitbull.
I did, and it's Pit-Bull, by the way. So like,
Oh, so there's no copyright.
yeah. So even if I did want to sue him, it wouldn't work. Okay. The body of the A-list rapper Pitbull lay on the cold marble floor of his colossal mansion. His new wife, Holly Wagner, screamed at the sight of her poor husband.
Wait, wouldn't it be Holly Bull?
No, this is a Hollywood marriage.
Yes, it is a Hollywood
okay.
marriage in Chicago,
So
which I've never been.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah, it's set in Chicago, and she'd never been to Chicago. Still has never
I
been to
still have never been to Chicago.
Was there a reason you picked Chicago? Was it the Bears?
No, it was another favorite show of mine at the time. Special Unit 2 was set in Chicago.
You were the weirdest 11-year-old.
I was a specific 11-year-old.
Okay.
All right. A maid came down the stairs to see what all the commotion was about. What was it this time? She thought. The last time Holly screamed like this was when a spider was on the ceiling.
Wait, this is supposed to be first person, and you are now going into the mind of a maid?
Yes.
And she's, I mean,
Oh yeah, no. The story is also written in first person from the point of view of one of the CSI.
It's from the point of view of Jen Woods, but that doesn't matter. She's an omniscient god in this hellscape. So anyway,
that's cool.
yeah.
Okay.
Call 911, Holly screamed. The maid saw Master Pitbull on the floor. She quickly waddled down the stairwell and picked up the mop.
So the maid's fat, just so everybody's listening. She waddles. She does not walk.
Yeah.
She's a little fatty maid.
And she quickly waddled down the stairwell and picked up
Well, there's an emergency.
and picked up the mock gold telephone and dialed the police.
She dialed 911, I'm assuming.
She did, but I'm really going to try this episode to not reference previous episodes, but Connor will understand why this is funny. Anyway, rap music is murder, Nick joked as he took pictures of the petrified body. Every crime scene,
Jesus.
every single time they
the
arrive.
first thing out of Nick's mouth is a goddamn joke.
Straight out of Compton and right into the morgue.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but this time the rapper was the one murdered instead of the song he was singing. I jibed. Melch and I sat on
Whoa, shots fired at rap music. Okay, check your privilege, first of all.
You had an opinion.
Yeah.
Yes, no, I did have an opinion, and Oh, by the way, I don't believe in the word said. It has been drilled into my head from a very young age that the word said was a bad word. Mm-hmm. So I just used the shit out of the synonym function on Microsoft Word. So just be prepared for some things that make just no sense at the end of a sentence.
Understandable.
Yeah.
That's also like when they say never use the word walked in a screenplay. That's silly. Just use the
just
word.
do it.
It's the easiest word to use. If they're walking, walk.
I use scampered a lot.
Scampered?
Yes.
Which implies that they're kind of going on all fours a little bit.
Well, actually, fun fact. So we're all Drexel students, and that's neat. Go Dragons! Our football team.
Shameless plug.
Our football team's an improv group. It's fine. Anyway, I used the word scamper in my screenwriting 1 final, and Abrams didn't even finish reading it. He just sent it back to me, and he said, "Human beings don't scamper." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Chipmunks scamper," and I was like,
No, chipmunks skitter.
"Oh my God, you're right." No, see, I actually
fat maids waddle.
Fat
These
maids
are
waddle.
things we all know.
We're bringing it back. It's fine. Okay. Melch and I sat by the body. Time of death is approximately 9 p.m. He died about 2 hours ago, Melch said. No apparent wounds on the body.
It's a really quick response time.
Yeah,
They're really good at
really
this.
is.
Yeah.
2 hours, we got it.
No apparent wounds on the body rules out stabbing or being shot, and no bruising around the neck could rule out strangulation. I'll know more once I open him up.
Didn't he fall?
No, he was just found dead.
Oh, I thought he like fell. Okay.
No.
That's not 11-year-old Lex's fault. That's my fault for being an idiot. I thought he like fell right in front of his wife, which would have been a
Funny.
more fun
Yes.
beginning to the thing. Pitbull.
Oh my God, you're doing it again.
It's really, I'm not going to be able to handle the fact that his name is Pitbull and you didn't know who There
I
was
know,
no
there-
Pitbull to base him off of.
Melch finished and signaled his lackeys to take the body away. And you know what the most fucked up part was? I tried to come up with a silly rapper name. Like, because Flo Rida was a rapper at the time.
Florida.
Yes. And I was like, that's silly.
Will I Am.
What kind of silly rap name can I come up with that no one would
And
ever...
you didn't like decide to deconstruct a different word?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
Because that seemed we just named 2
Yeah.
deconstruction.
Yeah. Well, I
Rappers.
did deconstruct Pitbull by making it Pit dash Bull. Yes.
Buell.
Yeah.
How about pipe Buell?
It's actually spelled Pibul because the
Pibul?
T is silent. He's French.
Ah.
Nick and I continued to take pictures. Who called it in? I asked. I took a picture of the half-eaten dinner on the long mahogany table. The maid, Ophelia Rodriguez.
Wait, was he on the floor or at his table?
He was on the marble floor of his colossal mansion, if you remember.
But there was no room.
No, he
Okay.
just collapsed.
It's just one giant
Just-
open mansion.
It's
There's
an
no walls.
it's an open floor
There's no
plan.
walls. There's nothing.
No.
Okay.
She came downstairs when she heard the wife, Holly Wagner, screaming. She called 911 when she saw the dead body. Nick answered. You talk to the maid and I look around, I suggested. Fine with me, Nick agreed.
It's not their job to talk to people. They're
It
CSI.
is. The CSI people in CSI talk to people all the time.
Okay, here's the thing. I've never seen much CSI. The most I've seen is like going over somebody's house and they have it on in the background while they're like doing dishes or like making dinner or whatever because they just wanted something on.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't have caught that. So thank you. Please keep me informed with how CSI normally
no,
goes.
just-
Oh, no, he keeps me informed all the time.
The job
yeah.
the job of police officers, it's like detectives and regular cops who talk to people, like witnesses.
Now, hold up. By the way, he's using this knowledge based off of Dexter. So,
Okay.
So
we're all
basing our knowledge off of
Also,
the
every time
television
you've
we
referred to
watch.
Holly, it's been her full name, and that's weird.
It's fine. Okay.
I don't know. Holly sounds hot though. So
Yeah, no.
she totally killed Pitbull, but
She's
I'm just calling it now.
Calling it out. That's fair. As Nick walked past an officer, he let out a little snicker. Something funny, Damon? Nick asked. Says the person who cracked a joke the first second he walked into this crime scene.
That's a good point.
Okay. It's just she bosses you around pretty good and you take it. It's pretty funny, Damon laughed in reply.
Oh, it's sexism. We're dealing with sexism this episode.
Well, me
It's going to be the moral of the story. It's not going to be murder is bad.
No.
It's going to
That's always the moral.
I want this to be like the My Little Pony, where every episode has like a
fable. It's
like
it's
an
actually the
actual
Twilight
moral,
Zone.
like
Yeah.
it sharing
well, the
is
first
good.
episode was drugs are bad.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That's
and
a good
the
one.
second
And all
episode was-
criminals should be killed.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
yeah.
That is Jen Woods' like mantra.
that's a problem for another time.
Okay.
It's like, it's us against them, Nick. Everyone out there's a potential criminal. We have to kill them.
Well, me kicking your ass would be funny too, but you don't see me laughing. Nick smirked and continued to the witness.
Everyone's also super aggressive to each other.
He looked back and saw the officer all serious again and let out a chuckle. He walked over to the short Hispanic woman. Hi, I'm Nick Cragen with the Chicago Crime Lab. Can you tell me your account of what happened? Nick asked, hanging his camera around his neck. Well, I was cleaning upstairs and I heard Miss...
Why she gotta be Hispanic, Lex?
Because her name's Ophelia Rodriguez.
I'm offended.
That's
11-year-old Lex has made this
11-year-old
fat little Latina woman.
11-year-old Lex is canceled.
Canceled, yeah. This is my comeback. Well, I was cleaning upstairs and I heard Miss Wagner screaming.
Do the accent.
Ooh, no,
Then 24-year-old Lex will be canceled.
Ha, Jinx.
Jinx, you owe me a long-term relationship. I called 911 when I saw the master, she replied. Okay, do you know of anyone who would want to harm him?
I will say it's real weird that she keeps calling him the master. That's...
Master
Pitbull.
Master Pitbull.
Okay, do you know of anyone who would want to harm him? Nick asked.
I bet he's in a gang. If I've just noticed a pattern.
No one.
Okay.
But that wife of his, very suspicious, she returned. I walked down a long hallway, the hallway of Pitbull. Gold records, albums, pictures, and awards hung on the wall.
It is a different Pitbull.
Hey, Nick, you're going to love this, I yelled. Nick followed down the hallway after me. What? He asked. Our victim's name is Pitbull, I giggled. With the names, he exclaimed. This astounds me. How do these people come up with these names? www.oddnamesthat'llscaryourkidsforlife.com, Nick asked. Here's
Well,
he's
I've
assuming,
actually been to that website. Straight porn.
Now,
here's the
it
thing.
used to be
He's
something
also
else,
straight
the
up
domain
assuming that his
expired.
It's true.
he's also straight up assuming that his parents named him this.
Yeah.
Oh, that it's...
Aw, what should we name him, honey?
Does
I
he
don't
think
know.
that rap
Maybe
people's names are their real names?
Like Flo Rida, that's his name on his birth certificate?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nick asked to himself due to the fact I walked into the other room to leave him with his ramblings. Nick snapped a few pictures and I entered the bedroom. Ah! I screamed. Nick rushed in, gun raised. I stood there pinned to the wall, laughing. What's so funny? He asked, putting his gun back. I pointed forward as I tried to catch my breath. Oh crap, Nick yelped. A life-size cutout of Pitbull had jumped out of the door in front of me. It popped out and scared me, I gasped.
It's a ghost. It's the ghost of the dead guy. Sorry, I burped into the mic. I apologize to the listeners. That wasn't cool.
If it's any consolation, I didn't hear it. Well, the maid said that no one would ever want to hurt Pitbull. Apparently, the guy's a saint. She's pretty suspicious of the wife, though, Nick reported. Have you talked to her yet? I asked. Well, I thought I should give her some time to mourn before badgering her with questions, Nick replied.
You're a shitty cop.
You don't know who You don't know who she is, do you? I asked. Not a clue, Nick said, and I let out a little laugh. This guy was full of himself. Portraits, gold records, pictures, cutouts, rings. I'm surprised he doesn't have a gold statue of himself, Nick pointed out. Maybe they needed to put a bigger head on it, I joked. Huh? He asked. I turned around. Like when you're full of yourself, people say you have a big head. No? Nothing? I asked.
A giant golden bobblehead would be pretty baller, though.
Especially if it was of your own likeness.
Yeah.
No, I would I can't fault Pitbull for that.
Yeah.
Fake Pitbull.
Gotcha. Yeah, I still don't get it, Nick frowned. Oh, forget you, I said. I opened up another door and I was standing in the garage, which was the size of an apartment. He had 4 Lamborghinis, 2 black, 1 yellow, and 1 red. Also 2 Ferraris, 1 blue, and 1 silver.
I'm going to have to ask you to clarify the size of what city apartment. Like, if it's New York, that's a bad garage.
No, I'm talking like Oklahoma. Like when you could buy a 4-bedroom apartment for like $200.
That's a big garage.
That's a big garage. Okay, I would not be surprised if this guy had a roller coaster somewhere, Nick mocked as we stared at the cars.
He's just jealous.
He really is.
I took a picture of them.
He's a hater.
He's a hater. I'm going to assume it's safe to say that robbery may have been a motive, I pointed out. I walked over to the first car, a red Lamborghini.
I have to just point out that I can see the page you're reading, and motive is bolded, as if
we
didn't know what that meant.
Just in case. I sprayed the side of the door with my blood spray. I got a small trace of blood, but barely enough to have been a nosebleed or a small cut. Plus, the Vic has no stab wounds, I reported, taking a picture of the spatter. A faint sob echoed through the garage. Is that blood? The platinum blonde at the door sobbed. We spun around and saw what at first thought was Britney Spears from a few years ago, but then realized it wasn't. Can we help you? Nick asked. My name's Holly Wagner. My husband is Pitbull, she murmured. Oh, sorry for your loss, Nick.
Your husband was Pitbull.
Pitbull?
Till death do you part is kind of like in the whole thing. Whatever.
Yeah.
Keep going, Holly.
Oh, sorry for your loss, Nick replied. Thank you. When can I get my husband's body? At dinner one night, he said that he didn't want to be stuffed into a box, but covered in gold. I thought he was a total cliche, but he's the boss.
Who else has said that?
Yeah, no, it's a total cliche. You've heard that a million times.
And this is
Connor.
pre Game of Thrones when dumping molten gold over people was hot.
Maybe you were like clairvoyant.
Oh my god!
I want to read your current stuff and find out what happens in a few. Aren't you writing like a post-apocalyptic?
Yeah. Oh my god, I am.
Have
Oh
you
no.
invented any other rappers who I should sign?
Oh yeah. I thought it was, maybe Pitbull worked at Kinko's when I printed this, and he was like, "Oh, that's my
a
name.
great name.
That's it, guys." She wiped the tears off of her face solemnly. "Who would do this?" she whined. "Did anyone have a grudge against your husband?" Nick asked. "No, everyone loved Pitt. Well, everyone except Eddie B. He was Pitbull's only rival. Do you think he could have done this?"
Yep, the only rival in the rap game.
She cried.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
You get one.
You get one.
Oh my god. Nick escorted Mona Lisa back down into the hallway.
Whoa.
What does that mean?
Well, I'm calling this crying
she's
woman.
moaning.
She's moaning because she's crying so much.
It's Mona Holly.
It's Moan, MOAN-A-Lisa. Back down into the hallway.
Wow, you had no sympathy for anyone who showed any kind of emotion other than snark.
No, but
Yeah.
I kind of enjoyed the witticisms of 11-year-old Lex. She's doing some good work.
You should have been here for the sickest burn in history. So it's like on page 3 of the book, and this like bully stole some tokens from this child. And the bully's like, "Yeah, if I was you, I'd run out of you because you're a little girl." And then the kid straight up looks this guy in the face and he goes, "Well, if I were you, the nightmare that would be. I'd get Tic Tacs. You know, those green and white oval mints they invented while you monstrosities were discovering fire."
Well, with witticism, I'm sorry. Brevity is the soul of wit. So that entire paragraph was amazing.
Yeah, no, it was key. It was key to this kid's, eventual murder. Okay.
Spoilers for last episode.
They're episode 1.
Those were his
yeah.
last words.
I saw the ordinary tools on the wall, the common golf clubs, and then the definite thing that was out of place, the door that read pool. I walked over to
How is
it.
that out of place? He might have a pool. Or a
It's
pool room.
It's inside, yeah.
Indoor pools.
I walked over to it, and well, why am I always the one to find the bad stuff? Also, people like the officers are terrible at clearing crime scenes. In every single crime scene so far, there has been a person who wasn't supposed to be there.
Okay.
I opened the door, and a 227-pound giant and a German shepherd's dead bodies fell forward, knocking us all down like bowling
Well,
pins.
see, now it's understandable that you would miss that. Anyone would miss that.
Yeah.
Are there 2 dead people? Well, a dead person and a dead dog on top of her now?
Yes. Nick, I screamed the best I could. Did you find another cutout? Oh, damn, Nick exclaimed. He rushed over and shoved Chris Farley and Lassie off of me. Why?
Whoa. Is it actually Chris Farley's dead body?
It's not.
Okay, because that'd be messed up for 11-year-old Lex.
Pitbull bought Chris Farley's corpse and put it in his pool room.
Well, Michael Jackson bought the Elephant Man's bones, so I mean,
Oh my God.
anything's possible.
Why do you always find the cool stuff? You okay? He asked, helping me up. Yeah, thanks, I said, cracking my neck. I took pictures of the 2 bodies and of the door labeled pool. I'll call Melch, Nick said. Yeah, I guess that Pitbull wasn't the only unlucky one, I replied. I called Paige to get Eddie B in for questioning. Hopefully we'll get him within the hour, Nick reported. Great, another arrogant rapper that's full of himself. I bet he has statues, too. I took a picture of the body. What is it with guys and gold statues?
She's taking pictures of everything. I mean, I guess it's her job. Never mind. I take that back. She should be doing it.
It's such a basic white girl thing. I asked. I stepped over
This is
the...
before selfies. If she takes a selfie, I swear.
She does not. I stepped over the landmass-like body and headed up the stairs, taking
A
pictures
lot
of
of
the.
fat shaming in
Yeah.
this.
Well, I was 275 pounds at this point in time, so
it's
it's
true.
it's
All right,
fine.
You're allowed.
Jen Woods, by the way, is 5'9" and weighs 120 pounds.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure this body would have actually just killed her if it had fallen on top of her.
With the dog. Don't
Yeah.
forget the dog. That's the thing that
Don't forget,
I'm
don't
more
forget the
offended
German
by.
Shepherd.
How did the dog fall on top of her? German Shepherds aren't that.
How did either fall on top of her? Because she opened it to a room, not a closet.
They were propped up against it.
Yeah, then how
And the
did
guy
they
who
fall?
propped up didn't realize the door opened out instead of in.
Okay.
I mean, if I were a serial killer, I'd probably do that. It's more fun.
It's gonna spook the hell out of someone.
It's more like a prank at that,
Yeah.
at that point.
And they're
than
like,
a
oh
serial
man, we feel
killer."
bad about actually hunting this guy down now. He was just having good fun.
Pretty funny.
He should
The
try
serial
out.
killer prankster
Yeah,
strikes again.
He should try out for them impractical jokers. All right. I stepped over the landmass-like body and headed up the stairs, taking pictures of the spatter pattern as I went up. Nick called up the steps. I wouldn't want a giant golden statue of myself, Nick opposed. I turned around and looked at him. Really?
Bullshit.
Yeah.
I
Sorry,
asked-
I was gonna let it go. And Connor was going for the mic, and bullshit. Even if you wanted to like sell it or like melt it down, I want it.
Well, Nick's counter
I
is
want to like sleep with it, not like sexually. I just want to cuddle it.
That would be cold, but I mean, I guess in a hot summer's day, that'd be nice.
yeah, I'm more of a silver guy, he joked. I took a picture of him and the flash basically blinded him. I laughed and continued up the stairs. That was uncalled for, Nick yelled from below. The cast
An
off
official picture, and she's gonna get a talking to from that.
the cast off was also on the walls, suggesting that Big Boy was struck with something. When I reached the top of the stairs, I was looking in on an indoor pool complete with a movie theater and projector. Okay, officially this guy had everything, I jeered. Over by the deep end was like the Waldorf and Trump Hotel for canines. The doghouse was as tall as I
What
was.
hotel?
The Waldorf and Trump Hotel for canines.
All right.
I'm like The Simpsons. I'm
You're really
I'm
calling some stuff.
referencing some stuff.
I mean,
and
you
some
didn't say
things.
and future president
and
Trump.
and it was a presidential hotel for canines. There was a dog bed, dog bowls, and dog toys. I wonder if he had a dog by chance, I asked cynically and took a picture of the foundation. I walked
You
over.
found the dog.
I know. Here's the other thing. I've told Connor and our listeners this before, but I had just learned the word cynically and absolutely believed it meant sarcastically.
That's what I was. Okay.
Yeah.
Cynically, I wonder if he had a dog.
I walked over, and for an indoor pool, the indoor part was very dimly lit. The actual pool, on the other hand, was a neon blue, which was bright enough to make the sun seem like a pen light. I walked over to the fluorescent
That's
pool.
not true.
Bullshit.
Hyperbole. I walked over to the fluorescent pool and took a picture of the board of light switches next to the pool edge. Hey, Melch is on his way, Nick reported on his way up the steps. I flipped the first switch and the room was quickly illuminated with light. I looked back down at the pool and saw 5 small glinting lights in the bottom of the deep end. Nick walked over to me. This isn't fair. This guy rhymes a few words, terribly, may I add, and he gets all this. We, on the other hand, save the city.
That's what all singers do. They just rhyme words and sing.
It's true. It's not
But-
solely for rap. That's all genres.
Yeah.
Except for scat. Those aren't words.
That's not.
Are they making money, though, anymore?
I think
Scat?
scat needs to have a resurgence.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
We're bringing scat back. Tune into season 2 of Clowns in Heck for the resurgence of scat.
Scat.
Yeah.
Scat and ska coming back.
Ska's still alive, man. You
Well,
don't know.
It's in hell.
I
It's
learned
in
it
hell
from-
with
Oh, I was gonna say
the
with the
Chicago
clowns.
Crime Lab. Oh, or that.
I mean, that would be the if hell had a theme song, it would be a ska song.
We, on the other hand, save the city every day from homicidal maniacs, and we have a salary that a hobo would laugh at, he complained.
I just want to say I do like Less Than Jake and Real Big Fish, but that's it. I don't want the whole ska community to think
I like
hate
Streetlight
them.
Manifesto.
I don't think
Is
I've
that
ever heard
ska?
them.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Anyway.
They did the Good Burger song, Less
Oh.
Than Jake, so you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a dude.
He's a dude. I'm sorry, I don't want to get you flagged.
Yeah.
Oh,
copyright
right.
strike, please.
Good. All right. Take off your shirt, I ordered. If anyone's going to copy strike this, it's Pitbull himself.
Yeah, for like killing him.
Yeah. Take off your shirt, I ordered. Do what now? He asked. I need you to get those shiny objects over there. I pointed to the glistening stones in the
They're
deep end of
called-
the pool.
Nets.
It's too deep. It's too deep.
No, she needs some sex appeal.
Yeah. Take off your shirt if you don't want it wet, I repeated. I don't think you want me to take my shirt off because of your concern of my wardrobe. You think I'm hot, Nick joked reluctantly. I elbowed him in the
I
Reluctantly.
stomach.
hope this ends up with a sex scene and we find out what 11-year-old Lex thought sex was.
No. I elbowed him in the stomach. He took off his shirt and unlaced his boots. Nick took a running start. He dove in and was instantly submerged with icy
He
water.
didn't even take his pants off. Like,
No.
he's just-
He took off his shoes though. He scooped
That's
up
good.
the stone. He scooped up
not
the
his socks. Gross.
He scooped up the stones with a gloved hand and launched off the bottom of the pool and gasped for air once he broke the surface. Who keeps a pool this cold? He shivered. That's written that way, by the way, with multiple letters and dashes. Here, I said, handing him a towel and a robe. I don't think Pitbull's going to mind if you borrow his robe.
You have.
Contaminated the crime scene.
Yes, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Dry off, I smiled. Nick smirked and dried off. I examined the stones before sliding them into a specimen envelope. We got a ruby, a diamond, and a sapphire, I reported.
The plot thickens.
The plot gets more expensive. Geez, this guy even had blingage in his pool. Nick
Blingage?
Blingage in his pool,
This
Nick
is Nick
exclaimed.
talking?
Yeah.
Well, that's confirmation Nick is white.
Oh, yeah, no, he's super white.
Oh no, there are profiles of all the characters. Everyone is white except one black guy.
Who's that?
Melch.
Melch. Okay. I'm looking forward to Melch.
He's the head coroner. He's the chief medical examiner of the Chicago Police Department, and he's 25.
Wow.
He also treats.
I'm a little coffee bitch, and I'm 25, so I really picked the wrong industry.
He also treats everyone below him like they are the worst human scum he has ever met.
Oh, I'm so excited for Melch.
He got electrocuted last case. And I killed Connor with that because he thought I was joking. Anyway, did you just say blingage, like with a straight face? You're such a dork, I laughed. He gave me a small glare. Beep. Nick's cell phone beeped. Cragen, Nick answered.
I wouldn't have known.
Hey, Nick, it's Tony. I heard you were investigating the rapper Pitbull's murder. I thought I could help, Tony greeted.
How the fuck did you who the fuck is on this crime scene live tweeting it?
Who's Tony?
How does he have this information? Tony did it.
Oh, wait, it gets worse of who Tony is. I've spoiled myself. Okay. Hey, Tony, hold on a sec, man, Nick continued. Nick turned to me. I'm going to go get changed and take this. Be right back, Nick told, and he walked away for a minute. He came back about 10 minutes later in a black forensics jumpsuit with a white towel around his neck. Jen, my buddy at the FBI says that
Wait,
Pitbull...
around his neck?
The white towel?
Kind of like this.
Oh, okay.
Like-
Okay, like a sexy swimmer.
Yeah.
Not like he had a neck injury. in
No.
between
not
scenes.
like
This is
not like
his
a
new brace.
scarf or anything like that. No. Jen, my buddy at the FBI says that Pitbull isn't only raking in the dough from the rapping business, but also his parents were billionaires. They won the
The
lot.
entertainment industry.
Oh, so you've combined Pitbull with.
Every other artist we know right now.
Post Malone.
That's the one.
He didn't exist yet, but yes.
But his parents are rich, and that's the only reason he
I didn't know that, but I believe it. Yeah.
Okay. They won the lottery 4 years ago and scored $372 million.
Oh, well, at least it was like his parents weren't born rich. They just lucked out. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, no, they lucked out. He rubbed the white towel against his hair and continued. They used the money to invest in everything and anything. They even owned a few stores in the mall. The mall.
Whoa!
The
Wow,
mall.
that's the epitome of rich.
Yeah. With all the money, they opened up several restaurant chains around the country.
Okay, several restaurant chains around the country. That is money.
Yeah.
But also.
Oh my God. It gets worse. Wait, no, guys. Let me finish this profile that Tony,
Okay,
the
I won't
FBI
interrupt.
agent, delivered. Pitbull inherited everything. His sister got Zip. This kid got the cars, $4 billion, the house, and the dog, plus all their connections and restaurants, Nick reported.
I like that the dog was counted in the riches because let's be honest,
It's the biggest treasure of all.
It really is.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised that dog has lived long enough to see them go from poor to rich.
To billionaires.
Yeah.
Well, when you have
multi-billionaires.
money, you can clone things.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a terrifying.
See
now a sci-fi.
See, if
short.
John Wick had just used all of that gold
Mhm.
for scientific research, he wouldn't have had to kill
The gold is
all those
useless
people.
except in that assassin universe.
Is it? Because it's still fucking gold.
I haven't seen 2 or 3, but
That's
John
okay.
Wick 1
They're
was
just-
really good.
Have you ever seen Multiplicity?
No.
You know what? I thought you of all people would have seen Multiplicity. It's
No
a
one's
Michael.
seen
Is it because I did
Multiplicity.
a short about cloning? Is that it?
You know what?
Is that
Actually,
all I am to you?
yes, yes. No, Multiplicity
clone guy.
is a cinematic masterpiece starring Michael Keaton where he clones himself, but because you're making a copy, it's not as complete as the first one, and so it's like
That's what my clone thing is like.
it's all of his like bad qualities. But then he clones that clone, and then that clone that comes out
Is messed up.
is messed up. Hi,
Yeah.
Steve. That's what he said. Like his name's not Steve, but that's the only thing that the clone refers him to at. Hi, Steve. But anyway, that's
pretty fun.
yeah. I don't know how we got there, but here we are. Anyway, well, I say that's motive. For the cherry on top, that would mean it was premeditated. I continued.
Wait, what's motive? That he's
Um,
rich?
Oh, his sister got
His
nothing.
sister got nothing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that
Cool,
was
yeah.
just kind of slipped in there amongst the $4 billion.
Yeah, I was listening to the whole
Yeah.
riches.
Tony's faxing over a file on it now, Nick finished. Sweet, I replied. Why would
the FBI get involved and not take over the case?
Why would the FBI have a file on a rapper? I asked.
Different
See?
question.
See?
No, that's believable.
Yeah. Money and connections make people go bad. They just wanted to keep an eye on him, probably,
That
Nick
was
said.
a joke saying that they're racist for those playing along at home.
Right, I replied. We walked out. It was uncommonly cold
Wait,
for
you don't
spring.
know if Pitbull's black or not?
He's not.
You, not real Pitbull.
No, this Pitbull
Rapper
is a white
Pitbull?
guy. Yeah.
Okay. That changes nothing. Because I don't see race.
I don't see color. This is a manuscript. It was May and the temperature was like mid 50s, low 60s. Okay, so we'll go back to the lab. You go to Melch and I'll hit Sarah to tell me about these stones, I suggested. Got it, Nick agreed, and we got into our cars. Hey, Sarah, can I use this scope? I questioned. Knock yourself out, she responded, going back to her magazine. They are suddenly at the crime lab. I see you motioning, confused. They were in their cars, and it cut to commercial. And then when they returned from commercial, they were at the lab.
Yeah, some of these scenes are very obviously written to be TV shows.
And not even like correctly written. It was just that's how I saw the story happening in my brain.
Gosh, we should do commercial breaks in between. I should have saved my pitch for a commercial break.
This is
Okay.
brought to you by Clowns.
Clowns in Heck on YouTube.
Now and for forever.
Until YouTube goes down.
I placed the 3 stones under the scope. These stones have cut marks on them, like they were pried out of the thing that they were in. Hey, can you run these and tell me what kind of jewelry they used to be in? I asked. Yes, Sarah replied cheerfully.
The jewelry machine, of course.
Sarah's also a DNA tech, so I don't know what she's doing as like the general lab rat here. Sarah replied cheerfully, quite happy to put her magazine down. This is so much more interesting than Brad and Angelina Jolie, she shrieked.
Oh, that is very dated.
No, they're still all the time in the in them tabloids.
Not together.
That's very true. I walked out of the DNA lab and into the hallway when David yanked me into the ballistics lab. His eyes were gleaming like they were on fire. Hey, David, what's up? I asked. The gun that the bodyguard had.
There was a bodyguard?
That was the fat man, apparently. But it gets worse. Hold on.
Good to know.
I was going to say he deserves to be fired, but no, I guess.
No, he was moited.
Yeah, so he's good.
Yeah.
Good bodyguard on his tombstone.
The gun
Good bodyguard.
Or at least okay. Like
did,
he didn't
did
run
his
away.
best.
He tried.
Did his best.
He really tried.
Yeah. The gun that the bodyguard had was a real gun, but fake bullets. The trigger assembly was glued in.
Take it back. Shitty bodyguard.
Wait, what kind of fake bullets?
The trigger assembly was glued in along with the plastic bullets inside the loading dock.
Plastic bullets? That's not a thing.
Yeah, inside of the loading dock. I ran the gun through Ivis and got a hit. The gun belongs to Actors R Us, particularly Raoul Golper, your third Vic, David reported in his thick English accent. Good work, I smiled.
You have to do an English accent.
I can't. We already got all the information we needed. I don't think he comes back until Mousetrap anyway.
All right.
That's the last case in the book. Good work, I smiled. I walked out of the shooting range and was making my way down the hall to get coffee when my cell phone rang. Woods, I said into my phone. Hey, Jen, get down here as soon as possible, Nick said on the other
Why
line.
wouldn't she just look to see who's calling?
Because it's 2006 and all she had was a Motorola Razr.
And in our defense, like, you did call me earlier and I did answer the phone. Hey, who's this? But I also didn't realize I don't have your number, Connor. So I now have
Let's
your
do
number.
this live on air.
We'll bleep it. It'll be fine. On my way now, I replied, and made way for the morgue. Hey, what's up? I asked, entering the place of the departed. You've got to check this out. COD? Heavy metal poisoning, Melch greeted. I walked over to the table. There lay the body of our dead rapper. Watch this, Nick insisted. Melch sprayed the mouth of the body and the hands with a clear liquid.
Witness me.
And they glowed bright green. I'm not a doctor or anything, but I really don't think that's supposed to happen, Nick said.
No, well, you sprayed him with spray paint. So
Wait,
get the fuck out of the morgue.
Oh my God. Wait, you guys haven't seen anything yet, Melch said, handing us goggles. He popped each stitch out of the Y incision. Why he already closed up the body, I don't know. And folded back the skin.
From what I've heard of Melch so far, he really just likes messing with the dead people. Like, he looks for an excuse.
It sounds like he's my favorite character.
He popped each stitch out of the Y incision and folded back the skin. He sprayed the inside of the corpse and it glowed as well. The esophagus, the stomach, and the intestines glowed the similar sickly green glow. Claire ran a tox panel and it came back AU, PT, CU, and AG. These are all common elements for, Melch began, but I interjected, ring bands. These stones we found, they had tiny slash marks in them. The perp cut them out of the ring bands and used them to poison Pitbull. I finished.
So the gems were the poison all along.
Yeah, the perp...
That's a twist.
Yeah, the perp was giving him about 2 to 773 grams of this stuff 3 times a day for at least 2 weeks,
I'm
Melch
gonna
added.
say it. There are cheaper alternatives for poisoning people than precious gems.
Also, so all of these elements are bolded, and I think AU is gold.
Yes.
PT is platinum.
Post-traumatic. Yeah.
It's either that or potassium, something weird like KO.
It's just K.
Okay, okay.
CU is copper. AG
Sure.
silver.
No, silver, I'm pretty sure.
I was a film major.
Anyway,
I know neon is like any.
They ran a tox panel and came back with just pure metals for the results. Anyway.
It'd be funny if like someone got stabbed and was like, "Yep, he definitely has some copper in him from the blade." That's how he died. Too much copper, specifically in his throat.
No.
It wasn't all the blood loss. It wasn't all the open wounds. It was that damn copper.
At breakfast, lunch, and dinner, they fed him the gold, basically, Nick pieced together.
You didn't notice his poops were sparkly.
Or really heavy.
Really, really heavy.
You need a lot of rings to pull something like that off. Come on, Nick, I got an idea. Thanks, Melch, I said, and we left. We pulled into the diner and sat down at our booth. After ordering our lunch, I flipped open my cell phone.
They aren't disturbed by the fact that this man is full of gold and other things.
He's like a pinata. He's the best
They're
pinata ever.
They just
All
look
of his
at all this
bones are
weird
gold.
shit and they're like, that's fucked up. Anyway, let's go.
Let's go eat lunch.
And it's also glowing green from that spray you spray it on him.
Which we
Yeah.
don't know what that is, by the way.
The magic spray you found?
It's straight up. He just got some spray paint. And he's just tagging the dead bodies,
Yeah.
and he's writing his name. He's like in a gang.
Oh, it's the gang mention again.
No,
Good.
yeah, all the coroners are in gangs. And
Gotcha.
They have to
Well,
tag
Melch is
their-
black, so you're being racist.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
The other coroners are all Japanese, so that
No, also all white, by the way.
oh,
We pulled into the diner and sat down at our booth. After ordering our lunch, I flipped open my cell phone. So kids, when back in the day when you had your
we
cell
already
phone.
made this joke. The Motorola Razr.
Yeah,
Did,
but
did Razrs flip or were they?
no,
there?
they
Razors flipped.
opened,
Okay.
yeah.
I had one. I should know.
By the way, I asked for a Motorola Razr for Christmas when I was in 7th grade. Can you guess why I asked for a Motorola Razr?
because you were edgy.
Same.
It was actually because Special Agent Celie Booth from Bones had a silver Motorola Razr.
You watched way too much like crime shows as a young child.
I loved it.
Didn't like SpongeBob at all.
It was fine. It was fine.
Just keep moving on.
Yeah.
Just keep reading. Just keep reading right now. If you don't start reading again, I swear.
Hey, Paige. Oh, Jesus. Hey, Paige, can you subpoena the credit card records for Pitbull, Holly Wagner, and Libby Conrad? Libby Conrad is, I'm going to assume, the sister because she has not yet been mentioned. Looking for excess purchases for gold rings, necklaces, etc. I ordered. I'll have them in an hour. Oh, and Jen, Eddie B is here.
How do you know that? You have to subpoena for them first.
I want to point out that Connor is actually adding my contact information into his phone right now. I am
my
not
God.
because I am in it to win it with this podcast, Connor.
I appreciate you.
I can multitask.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's actually doing a pretty good job multitasking.
I'll have them in an hour. Oh, and Jen, Eddie B is here and not too happy we pulled him from his party, he
Eddie
reported.
B is Native American. We want to get all of the races in on this.
And hung up. Who's Libby Conrad? Nick asked. Pitbull's jealous sister. By the way, Nick is the one who told Jen about the sister. So
That checks out. I mean,
I know. So the fact that he's like, who's Libby Conrad? Anyway,
Well, Nick's an idiot.
Nick doesn't pay attention to details.
Pitbull's jealous sister. Anyway, we'll have our perp in an hour, and our rival rapper is here to lie to us. I smiled. We got up out of our booth and walked to the door.
What does that imply?
Hey, Betty, we'll be back soon. Just put our order on hold, Nick asked the redhead waitress at the counter. Anything for Chicago's finest, she giggled. Nick gave his charming smile.
That doesn't include Nick.
And then we left.
That giggle was at his expense.
We got into our cars and drove to the lab. Nick and I went down to the interrogation room and were greeted by a white man in his 20s dressed up in a sideways red baseball hat, way too big for his head. A matching tracksuit, also way too big, and had enough blingage on to be certified as a gold mine.
You grew up in Delco, didn't you?
I did grow up in Delco, and guys, this dialogue that we're about to have,
Is it racist?
it's so
He's
racist.
White. He's white, though, so it's not.
He's
racist.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Are you guys ready?
Go for it. Go for it.
I don't think I am. Okay.
Do the voice with it.
Come on, hizzies. What's your beef?
Okay.
That's it?
That's the first one.
Okay.
He slurred.
He slurred?
He said slurs.
I'm thinking more, what's going on? Like,
He's drunk.
He's drunk. That's the
With power and bling.
Dresses and talks like an idiot. Cool, Nick joked. We have a statement saying that you and Pipple were having some problems. This true? I asked.
They're not a couple. Or maybe they are. I don't know their lives. Maybe that's why
Twist.
his wife killed him, because he's
11-year-old
actually...
Lex is actually very progressive.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Didn't he just kick the bucket or something? Pitt and I were buddies. We had to be enemies for publicity, Eddie said in his defense. Right. Okay, let's go with that. Nah, never mind. I mean, you pretty much walked in here and shouted, I killed him. Pitt was poisoned with gold, and you are practically made of this stuff, Nick argued. Wait a minute.
Nick is making some real jumps just by association.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wait a minute. Did you talk to Holly? Eddie asked. Maybe, I replied. Let me guess. Oh.
That's not how you question people. You don't just give up your information like that to witnesses.
They said maybe. She didn't confirm nor deny anything. Let me guess. Oh, who would do something like this? Everybody loved Pitbull. Well, everyone except Eddie B. Eddie answered in a girly voice. What was that? I asked. It's what Holly told the press when I supposedly had my bodyguards slash their tires. I didn't kill him. Holly did, Eddie finished. Oh, what was that small tip I picked up my many years dealing with twisted murderers? Oh yeah, murderers lie, Nick exclaimed. So do blonde trophy wives, Eddie said. We finished the interrogation and he left. That guy did it. I know it, Nick said, crossing his arms like a disgruntled 4-year-old that just lost his favorite toy.
Well, we know Eddie B is completely innocent because Nick is a bad cop.
I read
anything Nick says is wrong.
Nick is specifically putting his own prejudices here against rap music. That's all it is.
Yeah.
He wants to bang the wife, and he wants to get rid of rap music.
To a country song that is not by Lil Nas X.
It's actually just to Gregorian chant specifically.
That's a different take than I was going to go for.
That's darker.
I read Eddie B's file.
Yeah. I like it. I like Nick now. That's a joke. I hate Nick.
Actually, Nick, he couldn't have killed him, I added, looking up from his file. Why? Do you believe that Holly could have killed him? Nick retorted. Eddie B has been on a tour for the past month. He couldn't have poisoned Pitbull because he was in California for the past 2 weeks. He just got back on Tuesday, I reported.
It's called Postmates. You Postmates the poison to
Not
him.
in 2006.
Oh my God! Fine, whatever. Courier.
Can you get gold on Postmates?
You can literally get any. You can technically get laptops and shit. It's just mostly a food thing, but you could get whatever you want.
Well, mostly what I want is food, so.
I know.
Damn.
Market it mostly as food.
This podcast brought to you by Postmates. Or Grubhub or DoorDash. Any of them, really.
Any of them who want to sponsor this podcast. Damn, maybe the bodyguard was poisoning him. Pitbull found out and killed him, then just died himself, Nick suggested.
He died of a broken heart of having to kill his okayest
bodyguard. And his dog.
Yeah, the dog dying. What the hell? Are we never going to come back to that?
I'm sure we will. No.
Dogs die. Get over it.
He just died of the dog died of natural causes, and that's what caused everything. Everyone just couldn't handle it. He was such a good boy.
It was actually the antithesis of John Wick. Instead of going out to get revenge, they all just died themselves.
Did anyone check their hearts? Were they broken?
No,
Pitbull was too busy spray painting them.
No, Pitbull would have been crushed by the bodyguard, who was just a paid actor, I argued. All of this disappointment
Wait, he wasn't even a real bodyguard?
No, he was a paid actor from Actors R Us.
He had a fake gun.
He had a real gun with fake bullets.
But you said
it was
trigger was glued.
All of this disappointment is famishing. Let's head back to the diner, Nick said, and I nodded in agreement, and we left.
He just wants to eat.
Okay, let's recap. We have a golden boy rapper, pun intended, a definite gold digger wife, no pun intended, and a jealous sister, Libby Conrad. Did I miss anything? Nick recited.
Why are they so certain that Holly is a gold digger? She hasn't said anything except, I love my husband, please solve his murder.
Yeah, poor Holly.
That is, you know what? Sus. It's sus.
Because, I mean, hot women can have feelings. That is a thing.
It's possible. I haven't met one yet that does. No, I'm just joking.
Ouch. Thank you for comforting me. Being an accidental dig. Okay. The bodyguard.
Well, I'm saying you don't have feelings either.
Oh, gotcha. Thanks. Also, not great. The bodyguard. How does the bodyguard fit into all of this? I questioned. Well, Libby Conrad is our best bet, I think. After he uttered Conrad, a waitress dropped a tray of dishes about 5 feet from us and did what any guilty person would do. Ran.
What?
The waitress did it.
Yo, Libby, another waitress yelled. I'll go round back, Nick said.
They just happened to be at the restaurant where Libby Conrad was working?
Yeah. Nick said and headed for the door as I went after Libby. I chased her into the kitchen, gun raised.
This is what happens when we have to cut pages from an actual script.
Freeze, Chicago Crime Lab, I yelled. Libby pushed a few dishes onto the ground and they shattered.
As intimidating as you think it is.
She continued to run until she came to a 10-foot-tall chicken wire fence. All right, nowhere else to run, I hollered. But of course, she began to climb. But
bang! Case closed.
I did it. I'm a hero.
Oh my god. She totally did it. I knew it.
Here's the weird part.
Why else would I kill her?
Y'all's fan fiction is better than what's actually about to happen. Are you ready? But Nicky, old boy.
Nick.
Did you?
I wrote, but Nicky, old boy, was smarter, and his sleek black viper rounded the corner, followed by the cavalry. Libby was surrounded, and I waltzed through the door onto the other side of the fence.
We have you surrounded.
Did more cops just appear suddenly?
We have 7 snipers on you.
They've been
you
chasing-
unarmed waitress.
They've been chasing her for maybe 20 seconds. How did they get all these cops?
How did Nick get into his car? We're
Kill
fine.
her.
Everything's great.
SWAT's gonna take her down.
Go, 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 go. It's 23:19.
She's resisting.
Not that smart, dumbass. Instead of running, you could have just painted a sign saying, "I'm guilty," I jeered as I cuffed her. After the amazing pursuit, Libby, Nick, and I sat in the interrogation room.
Brutality.
Listen, I didn't do nothing, she said in her defense. Wait, maybe I'm wrong. I don't understand. Oh my God, wait. That's terrible. Maybe they are African Americans.
Well, now that you realize you were racist, now they're African American.
Oh my God, they are. Okay. Anyway.
Oh
Anyway.
my God. We're gonna go to hell.
I know. Listen,
Thank
I
goodness
didn't.
You're no longer 11-year-old.
I know. Listen, I didn't do nothing. She said in her defense.
Oh, this is definitely racist.
Are you?
Did you go to public school?
I did go to public school. I also, my mom was one of the main people who created the M1 mixtape tour. So I grew up surrounded by, AO and Escalade and Spida and
I'm going to blame the depictions of African American people on CSI for your...
That's also completely fair.
So we're going to go ahead and say blame CSI.
No, Anthony Zukier, you're my hero. Not to be dramatic, but would die for Nick Stokes. Anyway, are you positive?
I don't know who either of those people are, and I'm not sure.
Neither do I.
Anthony-
I would not die for you. I would let you die.
Anthony Zukier created CSI, and Nick Stokes was George Eads' character on CSI. Are you positive you don't want a lawyer? You're not doing so well for yourself, I questioned. Yeah, I can't afford no fancy-ass white boy lawyer, she mocked.
It could... Okay. No, this is going to be harder to riff now.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
We're now suddenly both very uncomfortable.
Sometimes the jokes just happen because they're on the page already. Okay, well, do you know what happened to your brother? Nick asked, trying to change the subject. Oh, they are white. Okay, okay, we're fine. We're fine.
Woo,
we're
good.
fine.
You
What?
hear that, listeners? You don't have to write angry comments, but you can put
To
them on
the clown is
Clowns in
heck.
Heck.
Yeah. Okay.
I just need the check.
Any feedback is good, even if it's not on that show.
Okay.
Just comment.
I like your hair.
Thank you.
Okay, but maybe she's black.
They're brother and sister. That doesn't make sense.
Okay, well, and anything so far has. Anyway, here's my confusion. Are you guys ready? Because she's gonna be the one who's gonna be like, oh, that's why you're confused. Okay. What did Carlton do this time? That damn white boy is always getting himself into trouble. I don't want to offend you guys, but that asshole is the very reason why I dislike white people, she returned. You mean you don't know that he's dead? Murdered, actually, I retorted.
You guys are shitty cops. You're supposed to call the family.
Carlton, dead? She whispered. It was like the world went upside down. Her eyes were suddenly filled with tears. Also, why? It seems that she's not white. Why?
No, you can call someone else a white boy, and my roommate, in fact, is very much a white boy.
Uh-huh.
So
And he hates white people?
no.
She just said that, though.
She could be hyperbole.
Oh, that's true.
Shout out to Casey Hayes.
Oh, I figured it out. Never mind.
You white boy.
Never mind.
White boy.
I figured out the
love you.
lineage. I figured out the lineage. Carlton's dead, she whispered. It was like the whole world went upside down. Her eyes were suddenly filled with tears. Yes, can you explain your relationship with your brother? Nick asked. Well, when I was 9, I wanted a sibling for Christmas, and my mom and dad adopted a little white boy. I took care of him while mom and dad worked. Then as he got older, I taught him how to sing. She paused.
And then when we turned 18, well, I've seen this porno.
Oh, no. I've seen this episode of
I'm
SVU.
sorry.
It went
I
from...
apologize to the listeners. That was bad.
I've also seen that porn.
It went from me as the one and only jingle girl to White Chocolate, the white rap star. When our parents hit the big time, they kicked me out and took Carlton with them. Hadn't talked to him for 15
Wait
years.
a minute, these guys were black billionaires? That's pretty progressive.
Yeah, you're not racist at all, Lex.
Hadn't talked to him for 15 years. Then he comes to me 4 months ago and gives me a job in one of his restaurants that he worked so hard to inherit. She wiped her eyes and continued.
Wait, he worked so hard to inherit. I thought they won the lottery.
They did, and then remember they invested in everything and ended up opening a chain of restaurants, which you actually riffed on.
Yes, I remember. Okay. And so that's where Pitbull... Okay, so Pitbull wanted to inherit the restaurants.
Pitbull inherited everything.
Gotcha, and she got nothing.
She got jacked.
Which is why they thought they killed her. Or she killed him.
Yes.
Yes, she's still alive. Cool.
Then 2 weeks ago, he comes to me and asks to borrow the only thing I inherited from Mom and Dad. Mom's 17 diamond ring. Why haven't you sold that? You're obviously living in some kind of awful squalor. Why wouldn't you sell a ring that has 17 diamonds on it?
Like sell some of the diamonds and keep the ring.
Guys, you're missing the point. It has magic powers.
Oh yeah.
It can kill people with gold.
He
It
said
turns them into gold.
It's the King Midas ring.
Right, yeah. He told me that he would give me $15,000 and said it was for his new video. He also promised that he'd give it back, but that the video never came out. Then that son of a bitch sends me his wedding invitation with his trophy whore wearing my ring. She continued to weep. Sounds like you had a few reasons to kill him, I implied. No, that bitch did it though. So that's the second time people have accused Holly of moidering him. I went over there to get my ring back, and I saw her pouring this weird powder into a steak. I thought she was drugging...
Into a steak?
Into a steak.
No comment.
I thought she was drugging Pitt with something that would make him stupid. I yelled at her, and she threw...
Which I was okay with, because, I mean, like, I hate him, too. But now that you say he's dead, that powder seems awfully suspicious, especially since it was gold powder.
I yelled at her, and she threw her martini in my face. So I hightailed it out of there, she finished. Thank you.
And that's why I'm not invited to Christmas anymore.
Thank you. This officer will escort you home, Nick said, and walked her to the door. Okay, so I'm...
Why was Nick all over Eddie B? And now he's just like, you can go home, miss. I love you.
Nick has one brain, and it's in his penis.
Um,
Nick's also a bad cop.
Okay.
The implication being that there's a good cop here.
Okay, so
This is true.
So I'm officially rooting for the wife here. She's with him not 2 weeks and is already poisoning him, I questioned. Yeah, I'll call Paige to see what he's got. You go over to the house and see what that wife has to say. Carlton? His name was Carlton? I don't blame him for changing it to Pitbull, Nick said. We gave a small laugh and then broke.
Just started crying. Because Pitbull was his favorite rapper, and he didn't want to admit it earlier, but it's totally...
It's too much now. It's too much now. I got into my car and drove to the mansion. Nick headed into Paige's office. Hey, Paige, you have those credit card records for me? He asked. Right here, Paige said, and handed them to my partner. Thanks, Nick replied, and went to the lounge to sort through the records. He put the file...
Not his office, just where everyone else is.
He put the file for Libby in the trash and immediately read Holly's. That's peculiar. He just threw out this woman's private financial record just in the trash.
He's a bad cop. Bad cop.
He's also just a bad person. That's how people's identities get stolen.
That's peculiar, Nick whispered. He opened up Pitbull's file and saw that everything purchased was in Pitbull's credit cards and signatures, including 5 cases of gold chains, earrings, rings, and other jewelry. He walked down to Sarah's lab and gave her a lipstick tube he had recovered from the scene with Holly's fingerprints on it. Sarah walked out with a big smile on her face
He's
and
just
5...
lifting evidence?
No, it has her fingerprints on it.
Why wouldn't he immediately give that over?
This
is from the crime scene. They haven't been back there since the very beginning.
Because it was his color, and I made him feel pretty.
Sarah walked out with a big smile on her face and 5 sheets of paper. Thanks, he said. He flipped open his cell phone and dialed me. Mysterious? No?
What?
I don't know. It's just in the action line. I mean, not the action line. This isn't a script, but you get what I mean. Hey, Jen, I just found something very interesting, Nick reported. Yeah, I asked. More motive. Holly Wagner was broke. She couldn't access any of Pipple's money, and he bought everything for her. Plus, Paige could only find credit card records for Holly Wagner dating back to 3 weeks ago. That's 1 week before Pipple and her got married. So I ran her fingerprints through the DPD and got a hit. Nick paused and looked at the file he was holding. Her original identity is Lauren Murphy. She supposedly died in 2002 with her rich husband. Then I got another match to 6 other identities. This chick probably doesn't even remember her own name. She's changed stories so many times. I'll get their histories. You go pick her up, Nick said. Got it, I replied, and stepped on it. I pulled into the driveway and got out of the car. I knocked on the colossal door, and the platinum blonde and basically naked Holly Wagner answered the door. Oh.
Rationing up the sex appeal this episode.
Yeah. Is this a bad time? I asked. No, 1 sec, she said and walked away for a moment. She came back with a black robe on and a small black chihuahua with a collar labeled Oreo. How can I help you?
Oreo did it.
She asked. Who is it, honey? An Adonis asked, walking down the marble stairs.
What?
Oh, she muttered. Who is this, Jordan? He asked. He wrapped his huge anaconda-like arms around the woman.
Arms. His anaconda arms.
Anaconda-like arms. I'm
Not
Jen
his.
Woods
We
with
all thought,
penis.
I'm there with you,
Oh
listeners.
my God.
Yeah.
I'm Jen Woods with the Chicago Crime Lab. I'm here to talk to Holly about her husband's murder. I need you both to come down to the station for questioning, I sneered. A patrol car parked.
Sneered.
I want Antonio Banderas to play the Adonis.
It's actually probably some more along the lines of like Joe Magliano.
Okay. Someone with anaconda arms.
Yeah. A patrol car parked in the driveway. Miss Woods, you must be mistaken. This is Jordan Mink, my fiance. There is no Holly here, the man argued. Now, I could have Officer Michaels force you into the car, or you can go nicely, I smirked. They exited the home.
He's so mean to everyone who's not a cop.
They exited the home and into the squad car. Mr. Morak, I'm Nick Cragen, and as you know, this is my partner, Jen Woods. Your fiance is quite the liar and actress. How long have you two been engaged? Nick introduced. 2 months, and how dare you make such an accusation, he exclaimed. Well, this is the funny thing. Your wife's real name is Lauren Murphy, and she has 7 and now 8 new names, like Lily Morell and Samantha Donaldson, Daisy Farmer, Colleen Snow, Margaret Sanchez, Joanna Serve,
Sanchez?
Holly Wagner, and now the bride-to-be Jordan Morak, I said, dumping the licenses out onto the table. I don't know who any of those women are, the lady said. Well, they sure look a lot like you, and they share your fingerprints and DNA, plus all of their husbands have died mysteriously. Like Carlton Latimera, actor John Cart, paper company owner Jason Stewart, drummer Carl Last, stockbroker Matthew Rent, George Thorne, Ariano Chang, Carlton Pitbull Conrad, and now you, Mark Morak. All these guys were electrocuted, poisoned, thrown off a building, strangled, suffocated, or were stabbed.
This happened to all of them each time?
Each time. After each woman got the money from the inheritance, they disappeared, Nick finished. Do you know where your wife miraculously got her gigantic mansion? $12 billion?
Holly forgot to do the disappearing part for this one.
Yeah, and she has $12 billion. Why does she even need to do this
No.
anymore?
I mean, it could be she just likes it. She's just having fun.
I just
Like-
like murdering
Yeah,
people.
no,
I'm
Black
actually
Widow
just a
syndrome.
serial killer.
That's a thing.
She killed her last husband for $4 billion and the mansion, and then the rest were just savings. You are a president at your own law firm and a DA?
A president.
He's the DA?
You were just like the rest of these men. High salary and you're...
Yeah, you should be more aware of the whole...
You were just like the rest of
He's
these
a
men.
shitty DA.
Everyone's shitty in this place. This is hell.
You were just like the rest of these men. High salary and you're really, really stupid.
Is that really what it says?
Yes. After you were dead, she could have taken off with all of her money without ever killing ever again and would have never gotten caught. I turned my
Just
head.
needed this last extra couple billion.
I turned my head to the wicked one. Only you killed a person in my town, which means it was inevitable that you'd get caught. And 2, you dropped 3 of the stones from the rings you used to kill your husband into the pool. This is why you don't kill people.
This is why you don't kill people. Because of dropping things.
Me.
It makes you drop things into pools.
I'm just trying to like decipher what the sentence is supposed to say. So I'm just gonna.
You may have
I'm
gotten
just gonna,
away from all those other murders in other towns with better cops, but then you
and
messed
probably
with
the
me
FBI.
and the FBI.
Okay. This is why you don't kill people. The murder is a bulldog. It's always going to come back to bite you in the ass and doesn't let go, I leered.
Bulldogs aren't known for biting, though.
I'm pretty sure this was Looney Tunes related because there is a bulldog who bites people on the butt.
That is true.
You can't prove any of this, Murphy argued.
Well,
Honey,
that might be Tom and Jerry I'm thinking of.
honey, I have enough evidence to put you away for at least the next few centuries or so. Quit while you're ahead.
The one, the gray one. I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Spike. Quit while you're ahead, I smirked. I want an attorney, Lauren retorted.
Shoot her in the head right now.
Pow! Roll credits.
With them like shaking each other's hands like, good job. We did it.
Better be a damn good one, Nick added. I motioned over for the officer at the door to arrest Lauren. The officer cuffed Murphy. Lauren Murphy, you are under arrest for credit card fraud. That's
your
the
lead.
charge. That's the charge you lead with.
We don't have enough evidence on the other ones. We're just pretty much
And then
going on that.
And then she just lists all the men again.
She didn't even steal any credit card fraud.
By the way,
she's
so please remember that there were two Carltons.
Convincing people to pay for your things isn't credit card fraud.
no, it's not. It's
there
quite
were
legal in
there
fact.
there were two Carltons in the last one, and I realized that and changed it in this one. So now for the murders of Pat Lamara, John Cart, Jason Stewart, Carl Last, Matthew Rent, George Thorne, Ariano Chang, Carlton Pitbull Conrad, Raoul Gupur.
Wait, Ariana Chang?
Ariano Chang.
Ariano. I thought she had a kinky phase.
No.
Or to quote Scott Pilgrim, a sexy phase.
Not
Raoul-
one of those. It's just bisexuality.
Well, have you ever
Raoul-
seen Scott Pilgrim?
I have.
It's a good movie.
Here-
I've been reading the comics lately. They're really good.
We never figured out why Raoul died.
Or the dog.
Oh, wait. The dog is mentioned after this.
Oreo killed the dog.
Raoul Gulper being a... Oh, my God, Nick. Okay. So he's just listed all the names of the people that... So you're under arrest for credit card fraud, murder, being a bitch, and basically anything else we feel like charging you with.
Oh, that's not legal.
On the counts of murder, we find the defendant innocent. On the counts of being a bitch, completely guilty. Bang, bang, bang.
I sentence you to death.
Are you ready for this verb? Nick simpered.
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 Can you simper for me?
Nope.
What's the definition of simpered?
That's a great
What
question.
is the definition of simpered?
Going to jail.
Um,
I don't know what simpered means, but I'm assuming that's what it sounds like.
It's whimpering.
Being a bitch
Being a real bitch.
and basically anything else we feel like charging you with.
Nick
That's
simpered.
police corruption.
Yeah.
That right there.
Aren't you the
We'll
least?
charge you with something. We just have to figure it out.
Aren't you the least bit curious about the dogs? She asked. They were.
Multiple?
Yeah.
She killed a dog with
Oh,
every
okay. We also find
single
out.
person.
Yes. Well, Oreo is what's his face's dog.
I just
Oh,
assumed it was
Antonio
hers.
Banderas.
Yes. Okay. They were test subjects, and Raoul was my scapegoat. He was supposed to get caught, but that fat lard ruined everything, and I hit him with a 9-iron. I'm not at all sorry for those dicks. She sneered
She was
and
testing
left.
out her murder or ways of murdering on the dogs first. That's what she says. She killed people through electrocution, through poisoning,
Throwing people off buildings.
throwing people off of buildings,
this work?
and stabbing. So she just didn't know if any of those were lethal.
She also just said, I want a lawyer, and then instead just went, you know what? Fuck it. I did it. Fuck you. I did it. I hate everyone.
Also, maybe we haven't actually considered the possibility that maybe she's just a serial killer. Maybe she just likes hurting animals.
You have to come up to the roof, husband. Spot jumped off the building. You gotta see. Oh my goodness, you're right, Scott.
Okay. She sneered
The man
and
owned
left.
the Empire State Building.
Thank you, officers. You saved my life, Morak thanked and left.
Wait, you can't leave. We have many more questions for you.
It's not like we like you or anything. It's just our jobs, I scoffed. Nick gave a snicker.
They really hate everyone who's not a cop. They're like, we only save you because we love fucking bad guys up.
Well, that was interesting.
I
Nick.
feel like that's... Never mind. There could be some social commentary there.
Well, that was interesting, Nick joked. Very.
That's Batman.
Loved the twist you put on the Article 31 rights. Very well dedicated and spoken.
And legal.
Well, I'm going to go home and go to bed for about
You
an
just
hour
blew my
before
mind about Batman. You're right. He doesn't care about the innocent people. He's doing it just to fuck up the bad guys. That's why he doesn't kill him, because he's like, I want to beat the Joker up again next time.
He's a fucking pussy.
Yeah. What?
No, he's not a pussy. He enjoys fighting him, and if he keeps killing them, people would stop being bad guys. He's
No,
like,
I'm saying the Joker's a pussy. He's easy to beat up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I haven't seen the new Joker movie, so I can't really.
Also a pussy. It's kind of his whole fucking problem.
Aww.
Anyway, well, I'm going to go home and go to bed for about an hour before I get paged back here to go and do the same thing again. I smiled. Thanks, I think. Oh, and I'm right behind you with that nap, he followed. Good night, Nick, I said, and got into my car.
every episode has ended with them just saying good night
Yeah.
and then walking away.
Good night, Jen, he replied and
Did they
did the
not
same.
arrest her?
They did.
Okay.
Remember, the Miranda rights were...
They were red. I didn't
Sort
know
of.
if anyone was cuffed.
No. Oh yeah, no. She was cuffed before they.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't prove any of this, by the way. And then she's like, I want an attorney. And then she's like, the officer cuffed Murphy. I never called her by a consistent name.
I was she
also-
does
Yeah.
change names all the time.
Yeah.
I like the cynicism that she has where she's like, I'm going to sleep for an hour and then we're going to do this all over again because I'm in hell and I never get a full night's rest and this never stops.
Yeah, they're in hell because they're shitty cops and they're just bad at not only their job but also as being people.
Mm-hmm.
You missed the first episode where she poisons Nick, and that's the majority of the episode.
Because she does it twice.
Why? I mean, I get it. It's Nick.
It was a whole thing. You'll have to tune in to listen and hear why.
All right.
So that was the end of the case, and with every end of case brings our glossary. So our first term is premeditated. Just premeditated, by the way.
Okay, can I give my bad definition first? Premeditated. For before your yoga class.
This is a planned murder.
Well, a premeditated could be anything, though. I
know, that's
I
the problem.
premeditated to take a nap. That's what they just did, like there.
Yeah. Spatter pattern.
Spatter pattern. That's like Art Deco.
A certain way blood
cum.
sprays on a surface. It's not just blood, too, by the way, guys. It could be that very spatter pattern.
Ah.
Okay. Cast off.
That's a Tom Hanks movie.
Thicker, more concealed blood spatter. Motive.
Motive. That's like how you
small
get
Motown.
somewhere.
Oh.
A small motel, you said?
A small Motown.
Motown.
I thought you were going to say a train, which is basically what you said. It's a reason to kill someone. By the way, like any motive that you have doesn't matter what you're motivated for. It's murder. It's murder.
It must be murder.
Yeah. FBI is the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Yeah. Tox panel.
Tox panel. The Toxic Avenger comic book.
I was going to go with a panel of people who speak who are really bad people.
Oh, yes. They're just like, you suck. Your podcast is garbage. That's a Tox panel.
Same. It's actually just a fancier name for Tox screen, which I have not defined.
Tox screen. A less fancy way to say Tox,
Tox
panel.
panel. DA is district attorney. Subpoena.
Oh, I can't say that. This is not an X-rated podcast.
A court order to receive record, bank account information, etc. Don't you love when you go to a dictionary and they use etc. in the definition?
You get it.
Yeah.
Do I have to keep going? Like, I got plenty other words to go through. Come on, we're going to be here all day.
Credit card records is a record of purchases on a credit card. DPB is just
another sex move.
DNA
That's
print
dragon.
data bank.
I was going going to make a Dragon Ball Z joke.
Specimen envelope.
So
Yeah, but again,
Jared Leto actually mailed a bunch of those to his cast members
during Suicide Squad.
That's why he's not being asked back.
That's why you can't have a Joker movie, Jared.
Yeah.
This is why. A small envelope for evidence. Squad car is a police car.
I will defend Jared Leto's Joker, though. It wasn't his fault. The movie was just bad.
There was
just a bad movie.
plenty of other problems
David
with
Ayer
that.
has a lot of good ideas.
Was that David Ayer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was Zack Snyder was the other one.
Yeah.
He did one movie.
Two
movies.
I'll still see another
Three
David
movies?
Ayer movie. I don't think it was like I was like, oh my goodness, I'll never see it. No, he's done some good stuff. Just that movie was poop. We're getting off topic. We got so off topic.
This is not a movie
not
podcast.
a movie podcast.
IVIS, a data bank of registered guns, gun types. If it's about guns or bullets, it's in there.
Okay.
I didn't even define the letters that make up IVIS, by the way. And do you know why?
Did you make up this?
No,
thing?
IVIS and APHIS were databases that were used in CSI quite often. However, they never said what the letters mean. Therefore, I didn't know.
I will say Ivis sounds like a good name for a guy with a lot of guns.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Hey, yo, it's Ivis. Bang, 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 bang.
Ballistics Lab.
We gotta go see Ivis.
What do you need?
John Wick 4 is just him and IVIS. Ballistics Lab is a lab for gun and bullet analysis. AU is gold. AG is silver. CU is copper. And PT is platinum. And that's it for case 3 of Secrets Behind the Secrets.
Case
All that
closed.
glitters is gold.
I'm gonna give it a G for gross.
We're giving it.
I always give it a letter grade because the name of the podcast is A for Effort.
Oh, okay. I want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to give it an N for Nick is a shitty cop. That's.
And you know what? And that is plenty fair. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jack. I hope you suffered, but also feel the slightest bit inspired.
I am.
Good. Great.
I am feeling that. I realized that wasn't an appropriate response to your thing.
Please check out all of Jack's great things. He's a comedic genius, and he's very smart. No pressure, Jack, by the way. If you don't laugh at Clowns in Heck, then you'll make me look like a fool, and it'll be sad. But thank you for joining us again for the A for Effort podcast. Don't forget, you're not good at something until you suck at it first.